cell wall. Now we will focus on gram-negative cell wall. Okay, one thing I just forget to mention in gram-positive cell wall. We have talked about the peptidoglycan layer in the gram-positive cell wall. Okay, that is much thicker as compared to the gram-negative cell wall. The peptidoglycan layer of the gram-positive cell wall contain 50 to 100 layers. Okay, it is gram-positive cell wall is 50 to 100 layers more thicker as compared to gram-negative cell wall. Gram-negative cell wall contain only 1 to 2 layers. Okay, it contains, you can see here, it contains only 1 to 2 layers of peptidoglycan. But whereas in gram-positive bacteria, these layers are up to 50 to 100. Okay, so you can imagine how much thinner the gram-negative cell wall is and how much thicker the gram-positive cell wall is. Okay, so now we will discuss about the gram-negative cell wall. So gram-negative cell wall is basically composed of 4 things. First is peptidoglycan layer, second one is outer membrane, third one is lipopolysaccharide, and the last one is periplasmic space. These all things contribute in the structure of gram-negative cell wall. Okay, first we will learn about the peptidoglycan. You can see here there are only 2 layers. Okay, there are only 1 or 2 layers of peptidoglycan, so they are very thinner. Okay, they are very thinner as compared to gram-positive cell wall. Okay, so peptidoglycan layer is also made up of mucopeptide protein and NAM and NAD, similar to the gram-positive peptidoglycan. Okay, they are also made up of mucopeptide proteins, mucopeptides and NAM and NAD. Next we have, there is a difference between the tetrapeptide bridges. Okay, so peptidoglycan layer differs from the gram-positive peptidoglycan layer in only the tetrapeptide chains. If you remember the tetrapeptide chain of gram-positive, in the gram-positive tetrapeptide chain we have alanine, we have glutamine, and in the third position we have the lysine. Okay, and at the fourth position we have alanine. But in case of gram-negative cell wall, we have L-alanine, D-glutamine, and at the third position we have mesodiaminopimalic acid. Okay, so this is the difference between gram-positive and gram-negative tetrapeptide chain. Instead of lysine, in gram-negative cell wall we have mesodiaminopimalic acid. And one more, the big difference is that gram-positive contain the pentaglycine bridges, but whereas pentaglycine bridges are absent in gram-negative cell wall. Okay, gram-negative cell wall does not contain any pentaglycine bridges. They only contain tetrapeptide chains. Okay, now we will discuss how the NAM and NAG, these tetrapeptide chains are linked to each other. How these there are covalent bonds are forming. Okay, so there are 2 tetrapeptide chains are shown. One is here and another one is here. Okay, in gram-negative cell wall also the tetrapeptide chain will originate from the NAM. Okay, they will again originate from the NAM, not from the NAG. Okay, so there are 2 tetrapeptide chains are present. The sequence of the amino acid residues is L-alanine, D-glutamine, mesodiamine pimalic acid, and the last one we have is the D-alanine. In the similar way, here is also the sequence. First is L-alanine, second one is D-glutamine, third one is mesodiamine pimalic acid, and the last one is D-alanine. Okay, now what will happen? There will be linkage, there will be covalent bonding. Okay, there will be covalent bonding between the third position of one tetrapeptide chain, that is mesodiaminopimalic acid, to the fourth position of another adjacent NAM, that is adjacent tetrapeptide chain, that is D-alanine. Okay, what will happen? Third position will interact with the fourth position of tetrapeptide chain. Means the mesodiaminopimalic acid present on first chain will interact with the D-alanine of another chain. Okay, of another tetrapeptide chain. So in this way peptidoglycan layer is arranged. Next we have is the outer membrane protein. Outer membrane. So here you can see the structure of gram-negative cell wall. First we have the plasma membrane. Okay, this is like some this is the bacteria. First we have the plasma membrane. Okay, and then we have the cell wall. Okay, first we have the plasma membrane, then we have the cell wall. So this is the plasma membrane. Up to, from here up to here is the cell wall of gram-negative bacteria. Okay, from here till here is the cell wall of gram-negative bacteria, and this one is the plasma membrane. So now we will talk about the structure of gram-negative cell wall. Okay, so first thing that we have in is peptidoglycan that we have already discussed above the plasma membrane. First thing that is present is peptidoglycan. Okay, the gram-negative cell wall have 2 to 3 or 1 or 2 peptidoglycan layers. Above the peptidoglycan layer, outer membrane is present. Okay, this is the outer membrane. Okay, so the outer membrane is present up to plasma membrane. Here is the inner membrane, and above the plasma membrane is the outer membrane. Okay, so outer membrane. Now what does outer membrane do? Outer membrane contains some proteins that are called outer membrane protein. Okay, you can see here the proteins are present. So outer membrane contains some proteins that are called outer membrane proteins or porins. Now how these outer membrane proteins are made? When one or two, not one or two, at least 3 porins come together. Okay, at least 3 porins come together and they form a cluster. Okay, that is called outer membrane protein. Now what will happen? What will this outer membrane protein do? This outer membrane protein, after making a cluster, there will be a formation of channel. Okay, inside the outer membrane there will be the formation of channel, which will allow the flow or which will allow the transport of molecules, small molecules up to 600 to 700 Daltons from the surrounding of the bacteria, which will allow the molecules to move in and out, but only small molecules. Okay, so this is the work of outer membrane protein. And one thing more is that this outer membrane protein is the target site for antibiotics phages. Okay, we have already discussed that how antibiotic attacks the bacteria. So this is the site where antibiotic will attack. Okay, OMP is the site where our antibiotic will attack. Next we have, and one thing more, the large molecules like vitamin B. Now how they will travel? They are very large in size, so they cannot move through the OMP directly. Okay, what they will do, these vitamins B will bind to some carrier proteins. With the help of that carrier proteins, they will move in and out from the bacterial cell wall. Okay, so after the outer membrane protein, we have lipopolysaccharide, that is called LPS. Okay, next we have lipopolysaccharide. This lipopolysaccharide is composed of 3 layers. Okay, first layer is lipid A, second layer is core polysaccharide, and third layer is O side chain. These 3 together contributes in the formation of lipopolysaccharide. Now first is lipid A. Now we have the lipid A. Okay, this lipid A is also called endotoxin. Endotoxin. Now what will this endotoxin do? Once the bacteria enters into the body of the host, okay, what it will do, the bacteria will discharge lipid, that is endotoxin, from its surface. Okay, it will discharge this lipid, and this lipid will move into the different parts of the body and start necrotizing the cells, start necrotizing the host cell. It will start damaging the host cell. Okay, in this way this endotoxin will do. So it will perform different type of activities. For example, it will produce lethal effect, it will produce pyrogenicity, it will start tissue necrotizing, etc. Next we have is the core polysaccharide. Core polysaccharide is attached to the lipid A, okay, to which O side chains are attached. You can see these side chains, these are O side chains. These side chains are also called O antigens. Now what are these O antigens? Once the bacteria enters into the body of the host, our immune system will recognize the bacteria. And what part the immune system will recognize? It will recognize the O antigens. Okay, our immune system will not recognize the whole bacteria. It will only recognize some of its portion that are called O antigen. These are also called somatic antigens. Okay, somatic antigens. So once the immune system recognize these antigens, immune system will allow the production of antibodies. Okay, so indirectly the O antigens, what these O antigens are doing, they are inducing antibodies in the body. Okay, in the body of host, they are helping in inducing antibodies against the bacteria. Okay, so this is the lipopolysaccharide, that is called LPS. Next one is periplasmic space, the space that is present between the inner and the outer membrane. So this space that is present between the inner and the outer membrane is called periplasmic space. Okay, so this space is the periplasmic space. Now you can see the images on the screen. First is the gram-positive cell wall and another one is gram-negative cell wall. Look at the gram-positive cell wall. At the end you can see plasma membrane. Above plasma membrane, periplasmic space is present, and above the periplasmic space there is peptidoglycan layer. You can see they are red colored layers. These are peptidoglycan layers, and you can assume there are too many peptidoglycan layers are present. That's why gram-positive cell wall is much more thicker as compared to gram-negative cell wall. Okay, now you can see the green colored teichoic acid. Okay, these green colored teichoic acid is cell wall teichoic acid because it is linked to peptidoglycan, and in the purple color we have lipoteichoic acid that is attached to the lipid groups present on the plasma membrane. Okay, next we have the gram-negative cell wall. At the end of the gram-negative cell wall we have plasma membrane. Above plasma membrane we have periplasmic space and peptidoglycan. Above that outer membrane is present. Now you can see the green colored outer membrane protein. Okay, it is green colored outer membrane protein. This green colored outer membrane protein will allow the transport of small molecules in and out. Okay, next we have the lipopolysaccharide structure, that is lipid, core polysaccharide and O-specific side chains. Okay, hope it's helpful. Please like, share and subscribe for more such videos. Thank you.